Hello again guys, this is Landro off of the Wildhammer EU server, bringing you what is a 10-man Morchok Heroic encounter. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for the lack of a PvP video. I promised you one would be up this weekend. Unfortunately, I got called into work. Well, not unfortunately, it's good money, but it meant I didn't get a chance to edit my video. I thought I would have it up Friday night. I got some really interesting footage, such as entire BGs of multi-boxes, which was quite fun. But when I was saving and editing the video, my video editing program got a critical error and closed, and I lost everything, and I didn't have a time to catch up and do it all again. So I apologise for that. So what we've got today is the guild Who Dares Wins doing 10-man heroic Morchok. Basically, this fight from a disc priest perspective, you're better off if you're in a Strength of Soul Atonement hybrid. Now, I wasn't in that. I've only got 2 specs. Of course, the other one was set for PvP because I was doing the PvP footage. So I'm in my usual Atonement spec. If you've got Strength of Soul for this encounter, it really helps because the more shields you can get off, the more insta heals, the more damage you can get mitigated, and very importantly, you can get lots of shields on your tank and the designated soaker, which is always going to be a plate class or a rogue. Rogue for the ability Feint, which reduces AoE damage by 40%. Now, the soaker and the tank will take double damage on the stomps. Now, that is quite a significant amount. As you can see, as this video progresses, quite often your soaker and your tank will get quite low. The tank damage is extremely consistent. It's a lot of tank damage, and it happens right throughout the fight, so you've got to be aware that your tank's always getting topped off. You can, at stages in this fight, use your fast, expensive heals. Lots of binding heals is quite crucial at times when to avoid a death. Obviously you want to binding heal to top yourself up whilst also topping up another ally, and you can use your mana retention cooldowns during the down phase, which is the Black Blood of the Earth phase. As you can see, I didn't realise that emoting whilst him hoping cancelled the effect, so I lost a lot of benefit from my him hope there. Lesson learned. But as you can see with our positioning, what you'll want is your 2 soakers as close to the boss as possible, and your 3 ranged within 25 yards, but ideally close together so they can move as a unit to soak the crystals. The little bit of downtime you get, which is why this fight's good for Atonement, is during or just after the Black Blood phases, so you can stack your Evangelism back up to 5 stacks, ready to be consumed when the damage gets to a point that you'll need to do a lot of healing. And the start of, or after each Black Blood phase, you get a little bit of downtime to restack your Evangelism. You need to ensure that your 2 soakers are either 100% or as close to 100% as you can possibly get them before each stomp, and ideally pre-shielded to, avoid an untimely death or a spike of damage. The spikes of damage on this encounter are sometimes quite unpredictable. Even though you know that a stomp will do a lot of damage and you know the absorption of the crystal will do a lot of damage, sometimes the damage varies. Sometimes it seems like it will take half your health, and other times it will take almost all of it. So you've got to be aware of that. And the basic healing mechanic is get your tank up, get your soaker up, and ensure your 3 soakers of the crystal are at least 70% when you move as a unit to absorb the crystal. The down phases, I used Him Hope on the first time, Potion of Concentration on the second time. And mana isn't really a problem. Even if you do have to use lots of fast, expensive heals, you should be okay on the mana front, because this fight is basically a very quick encounter. It will last, 4 or 5 minutes perhaps. With this setup, your extra DPS on the one side. The damage on the Morchok side is higher than on the Cockrum side, which is the other side. Basically, you've split into 2 5-man raids at this point. So you'll need 2 healers on the Morchok side and 1 very good healer on the Cockrum side to deal with that damage. And you should be okay as long as you deal with the mechanics, as long as you use your cooldowns at the right times, and as long as you do your pre-shielding as a disc priest and get into the right positions, you should be okay. We're actually, although these bosses share health pools, so theoretically they should drop at the same time, there is, as you'll see on our encounter, it isn't strictly true. But the last 20% of the encounter gets very, very hectic. Things happen a lot faster. There's a lot more crystals, a lot more stomps. You want to use your heroisms for that last little bit, just to give you fast heals, to give you that extra little bit of DPS to zerg down the last little bit of this fight. but it's a very straightforward fight. The mechanics are quite straightforward in terms of they are very repetitive. The damage is consistent, whilst at the same time it does happen in spikes that are quite unpredictable. As I mentioned before, somebody could get a lot of damage at one stage and then suddenly it doesn't seem to be as much, but you shouldn't be too stressed on this fight as a healer. During as I said, this is the boss has a shared health pool, so theoretically they should die in unison. Isn't the case. As you can see, our other healers, or our healer on the Cochrane side, Mouse, died, so as of course the raid had to die then because there's no heals coming forward. So even though Morchok went down, there was still a little bit of HP to kill on Cochrane before we got the kill. I went in there like a hero with my penance and Shadow of Death, but somebody ninja'd my kill. I let them off because the heroic mace dropped, so I was quite a happy Disc Priest at the end of this encounter. So my PvP video will be up in the next few days once I've edited all the footage back together. It will be highly amusing, lots of mistakes, but that's it for today. So Landro out.